Sarala de Bergerac, Playhouse Theatre, Charing Cross, London. Okay, so Gerard, what do we advise people to do who need to get their head around this before they come and see it? Do we advise them to go Gerard Depardieu, or do we go Steve Martin?
Steve Depardieu would be the way to do it. Watch the first half of the other one and the first half of the other one. I think don't go to see any of them. This play is the original sort of tragedy rom-com from which we've had all these love triangles and movies about love triangles and plays about love triangles. This is the thing that started it and sort of which all of them base themselves on. So I think you're going to look at it and you're going to feel quite at home. It's very funny, it's very romantic, it's very sad, it's quite shocking at times as well. And what's really, really special about it is that while it is a rom-com, while it is a love triangle, it's also about living through your life when you're very, very different, when you have something that marks you out as very different and some people think is abhorrent or ugly to look at or whatever. And I think you can go and watch those things and it can prep you for it, but I think actually it's a pretty timeless tale that had you no experience of the story, or if you've got no experience of theatre even, you're going to come in and get everything out of it.
Right, what is the gist for people who don't know of
Cyrano
de Bergerac?
The gist is we live in this society which is obsessed with words. And at the same time, you have a very, very almost a genius of words. It's too early for me to use my words. And he's called Cyrano de Bergerac. He's got an exceptionally gifted, intelligent, dynamic, and beautiful cousin called Roxanne, who he's in love with, but secretly he also has a massive disfigurement on his face, which is his nose, and that kind of stops him from doing anything about it. A beautiful young boy comes in called Christian. He falls in love with her, but he does not have the smarts and he does not have the words. So Cyrano makes the kind of strange decision to feed him and teach him how to woo her with Cyrano's intellect. But of course, in doing that, Roxanne falls in love with the mind of this young boy and kind of falls in love with Cyrano.
It's a beautiful metaphor, isn't it?
Isn't it?
It's the best ever. How old is the story?
It is. Well, it's based on a real guy, Cyrano de Bergerac, who was around in the 16th century. But Rostand, the French playwright who wrote it, he wrote it in 1830s, I think. And then our writer, Martin Crimp, has done the adaptation. He went back to the original French, but he spent a lot of time in rap battles and poetry slams, and he's imbued the original French with a kind of real urban and kind of very new air. So it's not what you're going to expect. If you expect to come and see something that feels like West End theatre in inverted commas, you're not going to get it. And I think anybody who's never been to the theatre before, they're going to be in the level playing field with the Fur Coat Brigade that have been to the theatre many times. You know what I mean? You're going to...
I love the way you sell it. This is cool.
Yeah, no, it should
really
be cool.
And I can tell you're excited about it. You got that little twinkle in your eye.
I'm very, very, very excited about it. I've worked with Jamie Lloyd, this director, 4 times now, and he always does something quite bold and exciting. The last time we worked together, the most bold and exciting thing to do was just do the play as it should be done because it was such a mental play. This time, you're doing something that has got a lot of cliches in it, and a lot of those cliches get in the way of the fact that it has got a timeless and just truly unique exploration of the human experience, and very, very funny as well. But the cliches can kind of get in the way of it. You kind of start to go, I know what I'm watching, it's theatre. It doesn't need to feel like that. So he stripped away a ton of the cliches that you usually associate with something like Cyrano de Bergerac, and he's left the core elements that are really responsible for making this play endure for a couple of 100 years.
Good sell.
Yes,
very good sell, that, James. Have you done this before?
Yeah.
Once. I might have been on the radio last Monday.
Well, it's very good. Well done. All right, and apparently there's loads of incentives for people to come, other than the content itself.
Other than the content itself, we have got 15,000 £15 tickets.
15,000?
15,000
My goodness
of
me.
our theatre tickets to give away. The next set of £15 tickets will be available on the 2nd of December if you're under 30, if you're on government benefits, if you are a key worker, so if you're you key workers know what you are, but then you qualify for these £15 tickets. We're basically trying to remove, there's many barriers that stop people going to the theatre. There's cultural barriers, but there's also financial barriers. We're trying to take away the financial barrier a little bit and get people who either usually can't come or think it's not for them or just can't come because of money. We're trying to remove that barrier for them. Also, there's certain state schools and community groups qualify for completely free tickets, And if you want to see if you qualify, you can go to atgtickets.com/Cyrano15.
You are on it today, aren't you?
I know, mate.
The only danger of this whole scenario is that it's such a funky production. If people are going to the theatre for the first time, they see yours, then they need to. They're going to think all theatres like that, and it's not. Unfortunately,
they've got to keep funky, man. They've got to stay funky.
Yeah.
Somebody once said to me, this is a total tangent, but they said to me, I said, "How you doing today?" He said, I just try to rub my funk on it each day. I was like, "Oh wow, that's amazing. I'm keeping that." Anyway, so we're trying to rub our funk all over theatre. Yeah, well, look, if you come and see something that feels different and feels quite challenging and challenging the usual norms of theatre and stuff, just seek that out next time. Yeah. You don't necessarily need to go to the same places. The West End can be an exciting place. It can also be a place where you see a lot of stuff that you've been seeing for decades and decades and decades, and there's a place for that. I want to go and see certain shows done exactly how they've always been done.
This week, I can't wait. I cannot wait.
I mean, I saw that years ago. I loved it. Absolutely blew me away. Of course, I'd like to go and see it the exact same way. Would I also like to go and see a revolutionary, weird, kind of strange, different take on it? Of course, I would. But copyright gets in the way. But it does with musicals, unfortunately. But with plays, you've got a lot more freedom, and I think there's a space in the West End as well to be challenging, and not just when it's the National bringing in something that's subsidised so they can be a bit braver. The actual, commercial theatre can be brave as well.
The Chris Evans Breakfast Show with Sky.